Well, I am happy to be here with Justin Dougherty. He is the Executive Director of Autism Action Partnership. Sorry, tongue tying me a little bit. But Justin, it's so great to see you again.
You too, Andy. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I think we were sitting here about a year ago, talking about your annual event coming up. But let's just first talk about Autism Action Partnership and who do you serve? What is the mission of the organization?
Yes, thank you very much. So we are Autism Action Partnership. We're a 501c3 in the state of Nebraska. Our biggest footprint is the Omaha metro area, with a lot of our programs and services reaching the kind of Omaha Council Bluffs autism community, but a number of our programs do reach statewide across Nebraska. Here in April of 2021, we actually rebranded our organization, and so we're still working on my speaking points. But our three primary core buckets of focus are support, inclusion, and prosperity. And so, kind of foundationally support anybody in the autism community, whether an individual or a family who needs anything, can reach out to us. And we might not be able to provide it, but we'll help them find who can provide it. We provide a number of ways to connect with the network. Basically, a lot of families will reach out and say, we just got a diagnosis. We have no idea what even questions to be asking. We're not even searching for answers yet. We're still trying to figure out what questions to ask. And so we do a lot of work with families to try to connect them with the right folks and some peers and some peer support. We do a lot of work with around safety and support for individuals and families and homes. Help them connect with police and a variety of other things specific to the autism landscape. Inclusion, our work is that's kind of a two-pronged approach towards the autism community, working with them on enrichment activities, on programming within inside of schools and across the community, as well as inclusion work with employers and venues and places like that to try to create a more inclusive environment and better in services. And then lastly, prosperity is our servicing that we're looking to it. We're working on expanding actually right now around workforce development and kind of young adult and into adulthood, that transitioning into what the rest of the life is after school ends for individuals with autism.
Yeah, because that has to be probably one of, there's a lot of challenges, but transitioning through that, high school and then into adulthood. And I think that has to be a big one.
Yeah, so much of autism for the last few decades, and still to this day, early intervention is so important, and so much focus on kids with autism and those school services and supports, early intervention. Well, God willing, we're all spending the most of our lives as adults. And so there's decades upon decades of adulthood and all this work to prepare. And then a lot of those systems kind of fall away once the school age ends. And so a lot of families are experiencing that, their 20-plus-year-old loved one, what does their day-to-day look like? What is these next couple of years of the trajectory of their life? And so we hear a lot of that from the families that we serve, and we're working on trying to figure out where our role is in that.
And Justin, over the years, I think the awareness piece, which is a big part of what you do as well, that you may see more cases. It's not because potentially there are more cases, but maybe it's just the awareness piece. Or can you speak to that?
The kind of research says it's both. It's more prevalent, but also there are individuals who likely decades ago, went to school with you or I that would today be identified as having autism, that perhaps were identified with some other special need or disability, kind of those bigger, broader buckets. And as it's become better understood by families, by the community, by pediatrics, and education, these boxes checked equals autism. And so the belief is that it certainly was a lot more prevalent than it was believed to be, but also that it is increasing in prevalence.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your event coming up, a vintage affair. What year is this? This is the
13, lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13, A Night in Paradise.
Yes,
is the theme this year. I love this event, but let's talk about it because it's a little bit different. Last year you were totally virtual.
Correct.
Is this year you're a little bit of both?
Yeah, so we want to keep some of that virtual component, and we'll be, so we learned a lot last year, and we missed the gathering of everyone, and so we are going to be hosting a live event and welcoming people there, and providing masks and hand sanitizer. A number of things we'll be doing differently physically at the space, having tables separated and less people at each table, and try to create a little bit of social distancing and make sure everyone that attends feels comfortable. Also, for those who aren't able or would choose not to, we want to respect and support them in that decision, and make it as easy for them to participate socially through social online social. And so we're doing that as well. So we have a website where all the event information is, and people can bid against humans in the room for items from the comfort of their own home. So we're trying a hybrid, I guess, this year as we still trying to figure out what the new norm looks like.
Absolutely. And as we were talking before, before we started recording, is really how the hybrid, at least right now, allows more people to participate or to engage and to support the event that evening.
Yes, I mean, I think all of us as a society, as we were saying, are learning how to harness this thing. It used to be kind of this other thing that some people were doing, and then all of us are now doing it and learned it. They're drinking out of a fire hose for a number of months.
Right.
And so now we're getting hopefully back to a place where we could return to the old ways. But there's been a lot of learning, a lot of growth, and a lot of kind of best practices figured out through the virtual component. So we're working on it. We're comparing notes with other organizations on what they're doing and how they're doing and what they're seeing. We want to reach as many people, but those numbers only matter if they feel as though there's a connection. And so that's the sweet spot, is how do you connect with individuals virtually, and not just have them click on a button and that's not a connection. That's just a reach. So that full circle of communication, right? Feedback, response, all that.
So the event is September 25th.
Yes.
And it's where's it at?
Embassy Suites, La Vista.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And people can go to the website to purchase tickets, but they can also purchase live tickets or virtual tickets.
On our organization's website, so autismaction.org, under events, you can access the event site, and then the actual event site is aap.givesmart.com. And both of those are basically avenues to the same page where you can get information about tickets, sponsorships, tables, donation, access silent auction items. Our silent auction items, they'll go live on September 17th. So we usually give people about a week to look through everything and see the pictures and start to figure out what their strategy is for Christmas shopping and birthdays and things like that, as well as opportunities to see videos and learn more about our organization and our mission and where all the fundraising goes and how it changes lives.
Yeah. Well, Justin, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. Your organization does such important work, and I will definitely look forward to connecting with you soon, maybe before the holidays, and we can talk about how people can support you during the season of giving. So,
well, thank you very much, and thank you for all you do and all of your work to help get information about us and all the others around the community. It's a wonderful service as well. So happy to partner with you on this. Continue to.
Absolutely. And folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.